bhagavaram samma sambuddho swagato yena bhagavata dhammo Subhadipando yasa bhagavato savaka sangho Dhammayam bhagavantam sanghaman sasanam Ime sakare yadarahan aropite abhipujaya Sadhuno bhante bhagava sujira varini buddhopi Pajima janatano gambadadasa Ime sakare dugata panaka Prabhude patikandato Amma gandhi garata Etaya sukaya Arang sama sambuddho bhagava Buddham bhagavatam abhivadi Swagato bhagavata dhammo Dhammanasami Supatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Sangham Brahmani Namayam Buddhasa Bhagavato Bhagavatanamagarangaro Mase Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa
Can you not sit on the floor? Can you not sit on the floor? Okay. People are very susceptible to not trying, and you have to try. So please now everyone here, everyone online, please sit up well, good posture. Very nice to see you all, and I hope you'll have a good evening now and do some valuable work on your mind. So sit well, sit up, and do your best now throughout this evening to remain absolutely still. Yes, and cameras on, please, so I can keep my beady eye on you. And you close your eyes, and as you close your eyes, you leave behind all that you've been thinking about, worrying about. Everything to do with the past you put down, and you leave it. And you remind yourselves that you really only ever have right now, this moment, always now. So try to keep your attention so far as you can throughout this evening, here and now. And we commence by bringing to mind the Buddha, our great teacher and source of inspiration. And we recollect particularly his perfect mind. And we call it a perfect mind because it was completely clear and free from all forms of defilement, all kinds of corruption. And not only that, but was distant from anything of that kind. His mind also was a mind of infinite compassion. He was quite an extraordinary and wonderful person, perfect in knowledge and conduct. Now, when you think of the Buddha, when you happen to see a picture or a Buddha Rupa, be reminded, be inspired to cleanse your mind too of all greed, hatred, and delusion, and free yourselves utterly of all suffering. And reflect that this should be a great gift that you're offering yourselves. Even to be here tonight is to take time and give yourselves an opportunity to improve your state of mind, to train yourselves. This is a great kindness, a great service you're doing yourself. And approach this task as best you possibly can with a mind of loving kindness. And be conscious of caring for yourself as you walk this path, especially during the difficult bits. Be kind and caring. Now, next, before we go any further, we must remind ourselves yet again of the nature of our human condition. We're all getting older. Every day, we're a bit older. Every week, a bit older. It goes on and on. And we can't help it. And if we live long enough, we become perhaps very old indeed. And during this life of ours, at almost any time, we can catch something, break something, something can go wrong within our bodies and we become unwell. It's a precarious existence. And then whatever happens, whatever we do, sooner or later, every one of us will die. And it can't be helped. This is the nature of our human existence. And we really must face up to it, get used to it, learn from it, and take the opportunities while we have them of cultivating our minds and improving ourselves, and especially improving our understanding, our wisdom. And that all depends on training our minds. So use this evening to the very best of your ability. Sit up well, be still, and quite deliberately gather now and concentrate your mind. And establish mindfulness of just what you are doing at this very moment. And what are you doing? You're sitting and you're breathing. Now let it just be that, sitting and breathing. And then let it just be breathing. Be mindful and aware each time you breathe in, each time you breathe out. And know quite precisely how and where you perceive the breath. Keep your attention there. And just with breathing in and breathing out. The whole breath in, the whole breath out. And do remember that should your mind wander, should you catch yourself thinking, dreaming, should you be worried by any aches or pains or sounds, or should anything at all interrupt your concentration, remember to remain mindful. So there's no need to move. All you need to do is to remain quite still and observe, be mindful of whatever it is that's happening, whether it be thinking, feeling, hearing, touching, whatever. And let it go. And you find the breath again, and you resume, keeping your attention, your mind, your mindfulness of each in-breath and each out-breath. And if it happens again, the same thing. Know it. Be mindful of the thinking, the hearing, whatever, and let it go. So you've all been sitting very well, very still, very peacefully. Now keep it up. Continue for a little while longer. But during the next few minutes while I'm talking, just listen. Make listening your practice. And do understand that learning to listen is a very important thing to do. And especially in terms of this practice. And understand that learning to listen means to just listen. It doesn't mean to hear something and then get involved in an argument in your head about what you've heard, or reject out of hand what you've heard, or get so carried away with something you've heard that you don't hear the next bit. Keep your mind steady and just practice the art of listening. If you do that, then you won't have wasted your time, even if what you hear is of no use to you and of no interest. So please learn to listen, to just listen. Now, I think everyone here knows that what we might call the matrix of Buddhism, of Buddhist teachings, are the Four Noble Truths and the Noble Eightfold Path. And you will understand, I'm sure, that the experience of craving and clinging causes us to suffer. And also that our minds are frequently colored and affected by greed, hatred, and delusion, and variations on those three basic themes. Those three are known as the three poisons. They spoil our minds. They easily ruin our lives. They certainly dominate our existence and cause huge trouble, not only to us as individuals, but between groups and between nations. And we can't ignore them. We have to learn to deal with them. And to a certain extent, I'm afraid, to live with them. We certainly need to wake up to them and familiarize ourselves with the experience of these three and of whatever else we find in our minds when we sit and meditate. When we sit and meditate as we have this evening, then yes, we have a principal object to focus our minds on, to anchor our minds. And we mostly use the breath, because the breath we have with us all the time, wherever we go, no special equipment needed, and the breath teaches us a great deal, as well as giving us a sense of stability. We can anchor our minds with the breath. And we know that when we focus well on the breath, our minds tend to calm down, our breathing calms down. As our breathing calms down, it affects our state of mind, and all this is very helpful. But our prime concern actually is not to be quiet and peaceful for 30 minutes or 40 minutes or 50 minutes or whatever it might be, but to develop an understanding of ourselves. When we practice meditation like this, we gradually become more familiar with our state of mind, with what we experience. And more especially, and far more importantly, the nature of what we experience. And what do I mean by that? The fact that all that we experience, everything within the realm of our experience, our normal experience, is impermanent, unsatisfactory, and not ours, and without any kind of self or substance. Now, you don't need to believe this. This is not a belief system, nor is this a dogma that I'm presenting you with. I'm merely pointing out what inevitably you will see, because this is what you will gradually become more and more aware of. Impermanence, change, of course, is not difficult to see. And you will appreciate, I'm sure, that everything is changing. What we don't really get to grips with is that it's changing all the time. Even things that don't appear to change really and truly are, but so slowly we can't perceive it. And our mind, our attitude, our consciousness of what we see, hear, touch, taste, smell, and think can deceive us. And of course, we use words. We talk about the table and the cushions and the people and Joe blogs and so on and so forth. And all that tends to obscure the nature of what we are talking about and of what we experience. When you sit and you observe yourselves, then you will inevitably become more familiar with yourself, with your state of mind, and especially, vitally, the nature of your experience. And why is that important? Well, we don't usually see and appreciate that things are impermanent and unsatisfactory and without self, and certainly not me or mine. And because of that, we want to see things differently, as real and lasting. And we want things to be happy and perfect. But they're none of that. So if we don't really understand the impermanent nature of things, when they are broken, when they are lost, when they elude our grasp, how do we feel? Unhappy. Sometimes desperately unhappy. Occasionally people speak to me who are overcome with grief when someone has passed away. They can't come to terms with it. But we are all of us changing and, frankly, dying. This is the nature of our experience. And nothing is perfect. Nothing is truly and really going to be a source of happiness. Because again, they're impermanent. They will break. the most beautiful object you can possibly acquire, will deteriorate. And one day it may break before your very eyes and you'll be devastated. And of course, people are the same. We're all getting older. Our nature is eventually to die. There is no getting away from this. And if we don't face up to it, when there is a loss, it can be devastating. But it needn't be. When we understand that life and death are all part of a process, a changing, moving, inexorable process. And why does it upset us? Why are we suffering from it? Because we resist it, we grasp, we want things to stay the same. We would like the people we love to be with us always, but we know it can't be. And because of our craving and our clinging, inevitably we suffer. So what can we do? Well, we can give up craving and clinging. When we see this, we know this, we understand the nature of our being, then we can let go of this habit of craving and clinging. But we have to really know. And that's why we have to keep on watching, keep on observing ourselves. And that's why we need our minds to be relatively clear and stable, and why we need something to anchor our minds to, so that when our minds move, we can observe, we can watch those experiences and thus learn from them. The learning that takes place is an experiential one. It's not theoretical. It's not what you might memorize from the books. And frankly, the books can get in the way. Living with Ajahn Chah, he had little time for books. He knew that we monks would often like to read things. And he asked us to determine to not read anything at all, for a year. There's only one book you need read, he said, and that's your mind. Learn to read your mind. And that's what this meditation practice is about. This is what it is doing. You are learning to read your mind. You are learning to read yourself. And the more you practice, the more you come to terms with, the more familiar you are with the nature of your being. And that's what we do. It's not complicated. It's relatively simple. It's not always very easy. And sometimes, inevitably, you see rise up in your mind memories and things that you might have done and things that you're not happy with. But whatever it is, step back, sit back, watch, observe. And if you don't feed those thoughts, if you don't feed those emotions, above all, if you don't feed your anger, it falls away. Unfortunately, we have the habit of feeding our emotions, feeding our thoughts, feeding our anger. And we're encouraged to do that, to go on thinking and thinking about what he or she did, or what that nation, or what those people, and so it goes on until we're consumed with anger and a hatred. And this is no good, does no good. This is why greed, hatred, and delusion are named as poisons. They can poison you, poison your life, destroy it, destroy you. So be careful. Make the effort. In the Noble Eightfold Path, we have right effort. Right effort. Making the effort to guard our minds, to not let these poisons in. If they do get in, then we make the effort to overcome them. And then we make the effort to promote skillful, good, helpful states of mind. And then, and this is so important, always forgotten, even when I view this nation and its civilization and how it's progressed, and it has, it's evolved wonderfully. The danger is that we don't make the effort to maintain it, to maintain your practice, to maintain the evolution, the spiritual evolution of yourself and your civilization. Making the effort to maintain the good, to maintain what the growth that you've so far achieved. It is so important. Don't forget that. Don't let yourself slip back. Don't let your nation and your civilization fall back. Don't be complacent. Watch yourselves well. Familiarize yourself with the nature of your being. Understand. And so let go of craving and clinging and be free. And that is enough from me for tonight. So we'll sit for just a few more moments. And in these closing moments, please focus your minds on loving kindness. Loving kindness for yourself. Breathe in loving kindness for yourself. And loving kindness for all beings everywhere. Breathe out loving kindness for everyone and everything. May you and all beings be well and happy. May you and all beings be free from all suffering. May you and all beings realize for yourselves the secure peace of Nibbana. Arahant Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivade Swakato Bhagavanta Dhammo Dhammang Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavanto Savaka Sangho Sanghang Namami. So thank you all very much for coming. Very nice to see you all. I hope you have a good weekend and we'll meet again soon.